I am Elysian, descendant of both the Chozo and the First. I am facing the last moments of my life and transferring my memory to the datapod. In a way, our chronicle begins nearly 1500 years ago. That was when our noble creators, the Chozo, began to build that which would become our home. A place of exploration and knowledge, floating in the clouds of planet Elysia, a fitting home for its great Chozo builders. They built many linked hovering pods. In time they formed a net in the skies across the globe, instruments peering out in all directions, studying the cosmos. We did not exist then, only the Chozo walked these hollowed halls. To the distant stars they looked, and a great many things they discovered, including that which would later spell grim disaster for all. Several decades passed for the Chozo here at Elysia. The harsh winds and storms began to take their toll on the station, and upkeep began to take up more and more of their precious time. Seeing a need for assistance, they created us. The first Elysian, built by Chozo hands, stepped out of the mechanic reach 1450.82 years ago. Crude by our current standards, the first was soon given the greatest gift of all by the Chozo. To better assist the creators, the first was given self-awareness. To all other Elysians, the first shared the Chozo gift. This event marks year 1 of the Elysian Reckoning. The Chozo were watchers, studying the depths of space tirelessly to quench their thirst for knowledge. From this facility they launched observation satellites, firing them into the heavens towards distant worlds. These satellites returned information that allowed them to analyze the various phenomena occurring across the cosmos. Through this process, they were able to satisfy their intellectual appetite, one planet at a time. One day, a Chozo searcher happened upon a very rare discovery. A once-thought-lost satellite delivered information on a distant world. It was incredibly far away, even by Chozo reckoning. Study of the stellar object revealed that it was, in many ways, a planet, and yet also sentient, alive. This chance event was brief, and the information being collected was lost before the true identity of the planet was revealed. In the year 400 of Elysian Reckoning, the time for our Chozo creators to leave had arrived. To us they entrusted the station and its purpose. We were to stand vigil and watch over the station until the time when others seeking knowledge and enlightenment arrived. With their departure came one last request from the Chozo searcher, to continue exploring the skies for the answers to the mysterious planet. We gave her our word and resumed her tireless search. Day after day we hunted for the answers she desperately sought, but our efforts yielded nothing. We failed. In the year 600, we of Elysia were low on critical supplies and fuel. We created smaller mechanoids to process fuel from the atmosphere of Elysia, but they proved unable to produce a sufficient supply. Unable to secure the necessary resources to sustain ourselves, we entered a state of hibernation to preserve our remaining stores of energy and parts. While we slumbered, the data collected by the station's equipment was fed to us in dreams. During this long period of sleep, we had many dreams. Countless great events came to us, including a reunion with our creators, who had come to call a new planet their home. It was not long before disaster struck. A stellar object hit planet Talon 4, bringing with it a catastrophic corruption that sent the Chozo world into chaos. We watched helplessly as our creators perished, the few survivors fleeing to an unknown location. Powerless, we slept, and in our dreams, we lamented the deaths of our creators. This was our final vision, after which we were never able to see our creators again. Time passed slowly as we suffered through our bad dreams. We endured their visions until finally in year 1435, our automated defense systems were triggered. A number of aliens, well armed and armored, had penetrated our battle screens and entered Elysia Station. Per protocol, we were revived from stasis to defend our home. As we mustered for battle, the aliens communicated with us and declared themselves to be under the banner of peace. A truce was called, and soon we began negotiations with the Galactic Federation. The Treaty of Elysia began a new era of prosperity for us. The treaty brought with us new supplies, fuel, and parts from the Federation. In return, we allowed them to use Elysia Station as they saw fit. They were glad to use the station's powerful scientific systems and gleaned a great deal of knowledge from our databanks. Unfortunately, the harsh atmosphere of our world was dangerous for the Federation researchers. They proposed to replace the humanoids with a single artificial intelligence unit, which they called Aurora. Aurora was placed within one of our floating pods and connected into the station's network. This connection allowed Aurora to control not only the facility, but us as well. Our link allowed us to reap the benefits of the Aurora Zone connection to the Federation's Aurora network. The units were capable of communicating with one another, regardless of the distance, and vast amounts of information were passed down to us. As the years went by, we aided the Aurora and our Federation allies in their research. We studied potential enemy threats and collected data on their activities. It was, in some small way, a means to atone for our inability to help our creators years ago. Through our alliance with the Federation, we were able to prevent many disasters and bring an end to numerous threats in the cosmos. We are not certain if that was what our creators would have wished to happen, but it certainly was a peaceful life. It was approximately 5 months ago that our systems detected a meteor-like object collide with a planet in a nearby galaxy. The impact was followed by a spreading corruption identical to the one we saw devour our creator's planet. More so than ever, we were determined to aid the Aurora and discover the source of these objects. Months passed before we could uncover its origin. It had come through a wormhole from an incredibly distant planet. We studied this link between the Terran space and the location it was connected to. As we delved deeper, it became clear that this was the mysterious planet the Chosen Searcher had been seeking. The living planet was aggressively attacking the other worlds, hurtling parts of itself across the cosmos like missiles. We had finally discovered the source of these corrupted meteors. It was about 1 month ago that we made our revelation, but all attempts at transmitting the critical data to the Federation were unsuccessful. It appeared that the Aurora unit had become disabled. We tried desperately to restore the Aurora, but it had been corrupted by an unknown virus. Our only means of communication with the Federation was severed. 1 week after we had lost communication with the Aurora unit, we witnessed the living planet strike again. It sent forth several stellar objects, one aimed directly for us. It streaked through the clouds of Elysia, destroying a large portion of our home, ultimately striking the distant core below. Soon, our sensors detected the presence of strange energy. Our readings matched with the Federation's data. This was the same toxin that corrupted countless other planets in our creator's world, the galactic scourge called Phazon. We watched as Elysia fell victim to the meteor's corruption, its Phazon beginning to consume her. High above the noxious surface, we continued to collect data on the object. It was not long before we met a new enemy. Space pirates, hostile alien life forms, and sworn enemies of the Federation entered the station and attacked. The pirate forces struck swiftly, the numbers and weapons dwarfing our own. After their initial assault, they began construction of a massive energy shield around the meteor. They referred to the fallen object as a seed and quickly built the protective barrier. Any resistance they met from us was crushed, and the massive shield was built without interruption. Our attention then turned to the pirates themselves. If we could not stop them through combat, perhaps there was another way. Our studies quickly yielded unexpected results. All of the space pirates were corrupted with Phazon, but unlike other life forms, they were actually being sustained by it. This Phazon kept them alive, and it appeared to control their minds with a will of its own. The 2 weeks following the seed's impact were disastrous. Like the Aurora unit, we too were infected with a Phazon-based virus. The spreading corruption consumed many of us, putting us under space pirate control. It was not long before only a handful of us remained. During this time, there was but a moment that we received aid. Gore, the hunter dispatched by the Federation, arrived here to restore the Aurora unit. Our hope quickly vanished as he too was corrupted by Phazon and lost his own will. He now leads the assault on the remaining survivors, taking more and more of the station over with each passing day. There is no hope left for us. Soon, we too will be among the enemy forces. The last of us now stand before the brink of our history's end, silently waiting out our final hours. I am Elysian, descendant of both the Chozo and the First. I am facing the last moments of my life and transferring my memory to the data